Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
O my Lord, the all-pervading personality of God, I offer my respectful obeisance. Nashta Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Before reciting
One should love respectful of the senses of his personality of God, like Narayana, unto Narayana, the supermost human being, and unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of the Lord, and unto Shikara,
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिकी. ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and the spiritual master opened my eyes with the nostrils of knowledge. Karoti vachayam angam lagate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinataranam. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, the deliverer of the fallen souls. His mercy turns the dumb into eloquent speakers and enables the lame to cross mountains. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Ti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashate. Hare Krishna. Because I was told that I have to give class around 15 minutes ago, we will recite more prayers today. Hari Bol. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Bhakta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Bhavadevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Hari Bol. Jai. There were two reasons why we recited prayers. What are these prayers known as? Anyone knows? Mangalacharan. Yes, Mangalacharan. What does Mangalacharan mean? Yes, Mangala means an arch. There are two words. There is Mangala and Acharana. So what does Acharana mean? Habit. Yes, Hindi speakers know Acharana means habit, or it means good qualities, habits, and that. So Mangalacharan means we are praying to these individuals who are in a parampara, individuals who we look up to bring us these good auspicious habits and qualities, and get in that Acharan, or the habits that we require. That's what we read, right? Nashta Praishu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. That is what the habit. That is habit that we want to perfect in this lifetime at least. So, and that is what we are praying for. Okay, so we are reading from Canto 10, chapter 24, worshipping the Govardhan Hill. Haribo! Giraj Maharaj Ki Jai. So we are reading from, I think we have to read from text 8 to 11. Sorry, I think I might be wrong in that. Text 8 to 12 and focuses on text 11.
8.
Yes, you can start reading Prabhu. Translation. 8.
And the Maharaja replied, the great Lord Indra is the controller of the rain. Clouds are his personal representatives and they directly provide rainwater, which gives happiness and sustenance to all creatures.
Not only we, my dear son, but also many other men worship him, the Lord and Master of the rain-giving clouds. We offer him grain and other paraphernalia of worship produced through his own discharge in form of rain.
By accepting the remnants of sacrifices performed to Indra, people sustain their lives and accomplish the threefold aims of religiosity, economic development, and sense gratification. Thus, Lord Indra is the agent responsibility for the creative success of industrious people.
This religious principle is based on sound tradition. Anyone who rejects it out of lust, enmity, fear, or greed will certainly fail to achieve good fortune.
Sukadeva Goswami said, when Lord Krishna heard the statement of his father Nanda and other senior residents of Braj, he addressed his father as follows to rouse anger in Lord.
Lord Krishna said, it is.
Oh, yeah, till 12 minutes. Thank you, Prabhu. But before reciting the verse, we can recite one more verse so that just offering a respectful obeisances to Govardhan Hill. So there's a verse, you can repeat it with me. Okay. Namaste Girajaya.
Namaste Girajaya.
Govardhana Namine.
Govardhana Namine.
Ashesha Klesha Nashaya.
Ashesha Klesha Nashaya.
Paramananda Daine.
Paramananda Daine.
Namaste Girirajaya.
Namaste Girirajaya.
Shri Govardhana Namine.
Shri Govardhana Namine.
Ashesha Klesha Nashaya.
Ashesha Klesha Nashaya.
Paramananda Namine.
Paramananda Namine.
Namaste Girirajaya.
Namaste Girirajaya.
Govardhana Namine.
Govardhana Namine.
Ashesha Klesha Nashaya.
Ashesha Klesha Nashaya.
Paramananda Daine.
Paramananda Daine.
So the translation is, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the King of Mountains, whose name is Govardhan. He destroys unlimited miseries and bestows the highest bliss. We pray to Govardhan Hill, but not just for ourselves individually, but that he frees this entire material existence from all the miseries that it has and bestows the supreme bliss of Krishna consciousness on every individual. Okay, so we are now focusing on text 8. Sorry, again after 11. I keep on forgetting. 11. Enam Vishajed Dharmam Parampariyagatam Naraha Kamat Veshad Bhayal Lobhat Savai Napnoti Shobhanam.
Yaenam Vishadek Dharmam
Yaenam Vishade Dharmam Parampariyagatam Naraha Kamadvesha Bhayalobha
Yainam Rishijit Dharmam.
Parampariyagatam Naraha Kamadveshat Bhayalobhat Savai Napnoti Shobhanam. You done? Everyone's done? Okay, we can now go to translation. This, oh sorry, synonyms first. Yeah, everyone together. Anyone who enam this Vishresh rejects dharmam, the religious principle, parampariya from traditional authority, agatam received naraha person, kamad because of lust, dveshat because of enmity, bhayat because of fear, lobhat because of greed, sahe vai chit cannot achieve shobhanam auspiciousness. Translation: this religious principle is based on sound tradition. Anyone who rejects it out of lust, enmity, fear, or greed will certainly fail to achieve good fortune. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami's disciples. Um, if a person neglects his religious duties because of lust, envy, fear, or greed, his life will never be brilliant or perfect. Okay, Jai. First, I would like to offer my respectful obeisances to the Guru Parampara and to all the individuals who have worked towards getting us Srimad Bhagavatam here. It's not easy. I was just discussing a few days ago with Sarthak Prabhu how difficult it must have been to get Srimad Bhagavatam to be compiled like this, translated for us and available in this book version. It's not easy. So just offering my respectful obeisances not only to our Guru Parampara, but also to the living disciples of Srila Prabhupada who worked hard to get this book here in front of us and also online available here. Secondly, to our Kulapati and our very well wisher, His Holiness Bhaktimarga Swami Maharaj, who is currently in South Africa. My respectful obeisances at his lotus feet, and to all the devotees assembled here. Thank you so much for allowing me to serve Srimad Bhagavatam. Jai. So this verse is very interesting. Now we are at one of the most famous celebrated pastimes of Krishna, which everyone knows. Does anyone know a deity that, so Krishna, what is Krishna called in this form? Do you have the picture where he's lifting up the Govardhan mountain?
Giridhari.
Yes, Giridhari. Any other names? Any other names? No. Okay, so Giridhari, correct. And because why is he known as Giridhari?
He's lifting a mountain called Giriraj.
Correct. And how did he lift up the mountain?
With his
Pinky finger.
pinky finger.
Correct. And our sampradaya, the Brahma Mattva Gaudiya Sampradaya, is known for celebrating such a deity, and our temple also is associated with the same person who installed this deity, one and only deity of Giridhari. And who is this person that we are talking about? Does anyone know the pastime where a saint finds the deity of Gopal or Giridhari? Yes, Madhavendra Puri. And Madhavendra Puri also is associated with which pastime? Kichur. So Madhavendra Puri is all finding Gopal everywhere. So Madhavendra Puri also established a deity of Gopal. He's also known as Srinathji in many places. The one very few deities where Krishna is actually shown lifting up the mountain, Giridhari. And it's a very beautiful deity. If you want to take darshans of it, you can go to Nathadwara, which is in Rajasthan. I got too far. Yes, correct. That's true. Okay. So now getting back to this translation, I just want to read this again. This religious principle is based on sound tradition. Anyone who rejects it out of lust, enmity, fear, or greed will certainly fail to achieve good fortune. Now, does anyone know what is the religious principle that we are talking about here? And what is going on in this previously? What's happening here? Nobody? Yes, true. Sure, for us, yes. That is one thing. We'll talk about that later on as well. Because for us, the religious principle may differ as compared to what is expected out of here, out of the Brajavasis here, right? What is the religious principle that is expected out of the Brajavasis here? What do they do every year? What does Nanda Maharaj arrange for every year to get good crops? Correct.
Offerings to
Indra.
Yajna, gold, jewels, flowers, and a lot of.
And who's Indra?
God of the Vedas.
God of the?
God of the Vedas.
Yes, Devatas. And who are the Devatas? Demigods. Correct. So he's the god of, he's the king of demigods. And does anyone know how? And Indra is a temporary post. It's not. It keeps on changing with every not yuga, but every Mahayuga. And does anyone know who, how do you achieve that post of Indra? Like when you become a principal of a school, or let's say when you become the ashram leader, or the Bhakti Academy director, how do you achieve that kind of post, or temple president? Yes, true. You know,
Thousands Australia.
1,000 what? Yeah. Ashwamedha Yagyas, correct. So he has to do 1,000 Ashwamedha Yagyas in his lifetime to achieve that post of Indra. And this is a very big post, right? Doing 1,000 in this Kali Yuga, Ashwamedha Yagya is not allowed, right? Ashwamedha Yagya involves the horse actually supposed to be sacrificed here, right? Ashwamedha, Gomedha, these are yagyas, and these are not allowed in this Kali Yuga. So therefore this Indra has been there since quite some time, and because he has committed himself to such a big austerity, and he is now on such a big position where he has command over demigods who run this entire world, there seems to be a certain possibility where one may come to a level of pride, right? We all have heard, I'm not going to mention who mentioned this quote, but with great responsibility comes, with great duty comes great responsibility, something like that. With great power comes great responsibility. Sorry.
Ego.
Yes.
Pride or ego?
Sorry.
Pride or ego?
Both, right? So with great power comes great responsibility, and Indraji has a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, especially giving us rain, right? And why is rain so important? It was raining yesterday, wow, and we were talking about this very heavily. I got very wet. But why is this so important? Why is Indra's duty so important? Why is rain so important?
There will be no rain, no crops.
Mhm.
How do we offer anything to Krishna?
Correct.
And whatever the garbage collects in that bhumi, that goes away from the rain.
Correct. Okay.
Agriculture and stuff.
Correct. Agriculture goes wrong. Another thing with rain is that if anyone has studied Garbhadhana, which is one of the samskaras, for a human, life actually comes down in rain. The souls that are present in our body actually came down in rain. And then the water that we drink has those souls, and eventually that is used for progenation. Right? So this water also has a lot of responsibility, and of course we cannot live without water, right? Many of us.
There's Garbhadhana samskar happening in the temple all this morning.
Okay, yes. So, in the same way, again, so that's why it's so important. Rain is so important, and therefore Nanda Maharaj had to offer his oblations, right? If you go back home in India, there are different rituals happening to different deities. When there are different IPL matches, there are different yagyas taking place, so that this guy hits a sixer, or wins the match. These kind of things happen. So the same thing here. But what is the difference between this and bhakti, and why do we not follow this? In the morning, every morning, if you come for the 4:30 morning program, or even for us on Tuesdays, we recite certain offenses, right? What are those offenses called? 10 offenses. And who has written those 10 offenses?
Not chanting.
Yes, Prabhupada. But he has compiled it from where? Vyasadeva. He has compiled it. Vyasadeva has written in the Padma Purana. And these 10 offenses, one of the 8 offenses, anyone know what is that 8th offense? Does anyone know the 8th offense?
Karma Kanda.
Yes, Karma Kanda. Right, that deals with Karma Kanda. What is it? Does anyone know?
Fruitive.
Yes. To not think that the chanting of Hare Krishna is one of the auspicious fruitive activities that is offered in the Vedas. Is Karma Kanda. Right? So to not think that this chanting of Hare Krishna is one of those same activities which has fruitive effort, which has fruitive results. Now, for many people, it's very different. Because many of us are born and brought up in this civilization where we go to God for what? For fruitive activities, right? If you have an exam, you go to Krishna before that. Krishna now as well, right? Krishna, please help me out with this exam. And if you have a big deal to sign, if you have a job to go to, that is the reason why we go to Krishna, right? But what does Rupa Goswami say? Anya bilashita shunyam, right? The fact that we should not be having any other wish except for Krishna. Anya abhilashita shunyam. It should be zero. Right? And that is what our path is. And therefore, Karmakanda talks about those abhilashita or what are our inner desires, right? So again, those inner desires can be fulfilled and can be done by the demigods, right? And that kind of process of fulfillment is mentioned in the Vedas. There are three kandas in the Vedas, right? This is one kanda, karma kanda, right? There is three kandas. One is karma kanda, jnana kanda, and upasana kanda, right? Jnana kanda again deals with this epistemology, understanding of this world. And then there's karma kanda, which I just spoke about. How can our fruitive activities be fulfilled? And how can we receive fruits from these activities? And the third one is upasana kanda, which we look at, right? How do we worship the deity? How do we please the deity, which is Krishna for us? Right? So upasana kanda or bhakti is something that we are completely, primarily into, right? Can you give some examples, anyone here, of fruitive activities that they've engaged in before? Or if they have done something just for the sake of, because it's for them, right? We do it, right? We pray to Krishna just for the sake of ourselves. Is anyone? Yes.
Chant Hare Inam Hare Krishna, 116 times.
Yes. Does anyone have any other examples?
I didn't understand the question.
So the question is that, have you ever asked Krishna or done any kind of activities, any kind of rituals or so, just for the sake of gaining something out of it?
Every Mahashivratri,
Yes.
we do the Abhishek.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, don't know the reason behind it, and second, we end up asking something.
Correct. So that is one good example. Anyone else who has done anything before?
Whenever Jyotish Sir Kundali, he says, okay, you do this, this, and this, then we do that.
So astrology.
He says something. I don't know.
Oh,
In the morning, or take these stuff and you put it in river. Wednesday, 9:45.
So the astrologer gives these kind of solutions to your planetary problems, right? Many of us may wear rings, stones, different kinds of things. Many of us may also do certain things at a certain time. Numerologically change your name. All those kinds of things happen. Add an extra 8 to your name. So those kind of things are again part of karma kanda. These are fruitive activities, and many of us are always, and we are all, like for example, we had last fall or a little before that, we had gone for book distribution in a temple, in a South Indian temple, very beautiful temple, lot of deities, and very nice, opulent worship, and everyone was, standing there praying, wanting to give money, and make sure that kind of opulent worship is going on. But there are people rolling on the floor and, wearing only black. And these are some things that people do. And what is the reason why they were doing is, again, the same thing. Of course, they may have certain level of shraddha or certain level of devotion to that deity. But the reason for that devotion is what? Karma. It absolves our karmas or gets us away from what our karmic reactions are. Right? But again, how much ever we try to do this, right? The same karmic reactions come back to us again. So there's no point in this, right? The fact that we do certain yagyas, certain sacrifices, but again the same karmic reactions come back to us. In the future, anytime it will come back, right? Then what do we do then? What is the solution for that? What did you mention, Prabhu? Solution?
If you don't have any karma, then you try praying Krishna.
Yes, pray to Krishna, right? Chant. What do we chant? We chant the name of Krishna. That is the only way we can be absolved of our karmas. Right? Akarma sarva kama. Have you heard that verse? Yes. And then Krishna also says, right? Karmanyavadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Do your duty, but don't think about the fruitive results of that duty. But individuals who so-called read the Bhagavad Gita, yet do not understand that and go into the same path and process of going into karma kanda. We don't understand karma. Actually, it's very subtle. where this offense may come in, right? You're like, we don't engage in karma kanda, just by not sitting and doing anything, or just by not engaging in blind faith or sacrifices, we are getting absolved of this karma kanda duty. But that's not true. As I mentioned previously, anything that involves you asking something for yourself is karma kanda. Or doing something for yourself. Even chanting of the holy name, if you think, as mentioned in the offense, if you're doing it for the purposes of fulfilling your own desires, it is karma kanda. It is karma kanda.
But when you read Bhagavatam, is it a karma kanda or something?
No. Now it depends on what you do with that, right? For example, there are many individuals who read the Srimad Bhagavatam during when someone passes away, or for astrological reasons, they read the Srimad Bhagavatam. They read it, they call this person to opulently recite the Srimad Bhagavatam, but then they don't hear anything. They just have the Bhagavatam going around in their house, right? So, unfortunately, because of that, nothing is going inside their brains, nothing is going inside their minds. Just opulent reading of the Srimad Bhagavatam or verses is going on in Sanskrit. Srila Prabhupada says this happens a lot, the Bhagavad Saptas, these huge melas where these things happen. And the reason why people primarily come is to make sure that any of their dashas or any of their problems are resolved. But if that is the reason why you're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, that's not right. Srimad Bhagavatam is for your own spiritual realization, not for material realization, not for material benefit. Right? Material benefits are something that will be taken care of. And you may also not get any benefits out of it. And if you leave Srimad Bhagavatam, and if you leave the studying of Srimad Bhagavatam just because you're not getting any material benefit out of it, then there's no point. There's no money coming out of this. There's nothing coming out of this. Why should I read the Srimad Bhagavatam? If that's your reasoning, then there's no point reading the Srimad Bhagavatam for you. But if you're reading the Srimad Bhagavatam for your personal realization, for your understanding and coming closer to Krishna, and for the path of self-realization, for making sure that you have a destined path in self-realization and understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is when it is considered as upasana, or it's considered as bhakti. But the good thing about Srimad Bhagavatam is, even if you read it in a karma kanda perspective, right? If you read it like how you call a person to read, and he'll continue reading Srimad Bhagavatam, the fact that because this Bhagavatam glorifies the Bhagavatas, right? It glorifies the Bhagavats. Who are Bhagavats? Devotees of Krishna. Krishna will make sure that family also has, that family has devotees of Krishna. Right? That if he makes sure at least in the future or even in this lifetime, these individuals come closer to Krishna. That is the importance of the Bhagavad.
Material minded but spiritual minded.
Correct.
Bhautikvadi,
Yes. So to make them from material minded to spiritual minded, as Prabhu said it. That is very important. Now coming to this, the translation again. This religious principle is based on the tradition of sound. So this sound tradition also came in previously in the few chapters before this, where we were talking about the Brahmanas, right? The Brahmanas and the Brahman Patnis, and the Gopasakhas came and they wanted some food, they wanted something to eat, but these Brahmanas rejected them. And why is that so? Because the principles that they talk about here, especially the sound tradition, or these traditions are very difficult to in fact understand and get. There are some there are people yet in India who are engaged in studying and memorization and perfection of certain sounds, right? And these sounds, unless they are perfect, unless they are perfect, only they work. So if they are not perfect, they will never work. These mantras will never work if they are not perfect. These certain Vedic mantras, they will never work. That's why in this age, Ashwamedha is not allowed, or Gomedha is not. These kind of sacrifices are not allowed. Why is that so? Because this animal which was sacrificed would be made alive by the chanting of these mantras. Because these mantras were so potent, and not only these mantras, but the people who were chanting were so potent enough in creating certain sounds that these animals would come back again. But are Brahmanas today potent enough to chant these kind of opulent things? No, right? Everything has been perverted in this Kali Yuga, right? Even if they may have mastered the sounds of these mantras, have they mastered their mind? Have they understood how to control these things like lust, envy, fear, or greed? No, right? So again, because of this neglect, as mentioned here, because of lust, envy, greed, and fear, these individuals then lose their potency to chant such mantras. How much have you tried? But there are certain mantras, it doesn't matter how you chant, where you chant, what you chant, but even if you start chanting, it will work out. And what is that? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Lord Chaitanya says, right? Because Lord Chaitanya is intentionally given this mantra to everyone. Right? Because he knows, he has put in his own potency in this mantra. Lord Chaitanya is called Dvijamani. He is called Dvijamani. Dvijamani Gaura. There's one of my favorite bhajans. Udilo Aruna Puravu Bhage. Dvijamani Gaura Muni Jage. Dvijamani. What does Dvijamani mean? Dvija means the Brahmanas. And he's a mani, he's the jewel of the Brahmanas. And this personality who's the jewel of the Brahmanas, who is the one who's giving this to us. He's bestowing this potency in every individual to chant the Mahamantra, giving his mercy to us, right? Giving his knowledge to us, giving his mercy to us. Then we don't need this kind of abilities to chant specific mantras in certain tones. No, because Dvijamani has himself come and has given us this potency to chant this mantra. Anyone who takes one step towards this mantra, chants this mantra at least once, receives the mercy of Gauranga, receives the mercy of Mahaprabhu, receives the mercy of Dvijamani Gaura, who comes and helps you out in chanting this holy name. Right? That is our religious duty, as Satya Prabhu mentioned. Chanting of the holy name. That's the first thing. Right? Although the Brajavasis here think their religious duty is to offer oblations to Lord Indra, they don't understand that the primary benefactor of all those oblations, or the Yajna Purusha, is standing right in front of them. Who's the Yajna Purusha? Krishna. He's standing himself like this. Oh, Baba, don't do this. He's telling them, Baba, I don't want you to do this. Because this Indra is too much in ego, like as Prabhu said, too much in ego. He's going to take all of this and not give anything. He's yet going to have the same ego. He's going to give the same amount of rain. He's not going to, splash his mercy over everyone like how Krishna or Lord Chaitanya would. Right? That's why Krishna wanted to make sure, because Krishna knows that the only entity that, apart from him, that is giving mercy in Vrindavan is Govardhan. Right? Govardhan, just giving a little bit background about Govardhan. It's called Giriraj. Giri means a mountain or hill, and Raj means a person who is one of the greatest out of all of them, the mightiest out of all the Giris. When Govardhan was born, or when it appeared, even great mountain ranges like the Himalayas came to take its darshans, fall at its feet. Because at that point of time, Govardhan was at such a level, it was, in fact, 25 kilometers tall, 500 million yojanas. 1 yojana is 8 miles. That it was so long, and it provided everything to the villagers, and it provided everything to the Sakhavrindas and to the Brajavasis there. In Bhakti Rasayana, which is I think by Harisuri ji, it is mentioned that Govardhan almost has like the role of Guru here, right? Because why it does have the role of Guru here? There's one verse from Shri Guru Ashtakam. Nikunja yuno ratikeli siddhyai yayali bhidyor tirapekshaniya tatrari taksha adivallabhasya vande guru Shri Charanaravinda. Nikunja yuno ratikeli siddhyai. But the spiritual master, he serves in the Nikunjas, he serves in the eternal pastimes of Shri Radha and Krishna. And he makes sure to arrange all those pastimes. Right? He's the arranger. Shri Radhika Madhava Yorapara Madhurya Leela Gunarupanam. He arranges those pastimes of Shri Radhika Madhava. Right? And this arranger of pastimes also Govardhan does the same duty. How does Govardhan does the same duty? Govardhan provides water, Govardhan provides the beautiful flowers, fruits, minerals, paints. It provides different insects, scents, animals. It provides fresh grass for the cows. These are all part of the pastimes, right? And the Guru is almost like this, like if you imagine yourself going to like a caterer or a cafeteria, there's this person sitting and giving you the food, passing it on, and taking the coupon, passing it on. Same thing, making sure to arrange everything, right? Make sure that everyone who's part of these pastimes are well taken care of. Everyone just goes around Govardhan. That's the quality of Govardhan, right? Shri Radha Krishna chose Govardhan, right? Shri Radha Gopinath chose Govardhan as its place where they will conduct their pastimes. And it's no ordinary hill in that. That's why we don't climb over the Govardhan, right?
So Vishnu tried to test Govardhan. He said the cows are giving milk and let me, but I am not getting any milk like that. So he went and sat in the gardens below inside and slept there. The cows came to the milk, so they were rich. Vishnu took the milk. So he satisfied the cows were milking there.
And the cows as well.
Leaves
And the Govardhan has special types of bushes and special types of herbs that the cows take. And the cows not only take grass, the special grass that's grown, but the same milk as if you read Damodar Leela, if you read Damodar Janani, which is by His Holiness Shriram Maharaj, right? In that it is said Mother Yashoda would, these cows would go, they would eat special herbs, special weeds, special different kinds of things that would churn into the milk and make the milk healthy. And then again she would make the cow drink the same milk and again make her try more herbs and make the cow eat more herbs, and again that milk that comes out is then given to Krishna. There's a different process of filtration. Unfortunately, that kind of milk is not available to us today, right? And that's why when this milk we take, it's not good for us. But there are devotees who are trying to get us to that kind of milk. Not so close, but at least 10% of that milk. So Govardhan is that, right? Govardhan gives us that. It's a place where people come together to. It's kind of this kind of center point of all the pastimes that are taking place in Braj, and that's why it's so important, and that's why we take its parikrama. And therefore Krishna understood that it's important for us therefore that we go ahead and worship Govardhan, because Govardhan is what, as I mentioned, it is almost like Guru, right? And what does the Guru represents? The demigods. If you ask Nityananda Prabhu, who does yagyas, people. The idea is that we start by worshipping the Guru first, right? We start Om Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishtaya. We start by worshipping the Guru first and then offer it. Like even when you're offering Arati on the altar, you worship the Guru, right? First. Yes, and then you worship the deities on the altar. Why is that so? Because the Guru gives us guidance, not only that, but also the Guru, is almost like the representative of the demigods. So you don't need to pray the demigods. If you go to any other Karma Kanda ritual, you'll start by either paying to Lord Ganesha or different other entities, which is not wrong. But when the Guru is present, who is the benefactor of all the demigods, you don't need to pray to any other demigods. And the same is here. When Govardhan himself, who is representative of Guru, is present here, who is giving us everything, and with a smiling face, and his twinkling eyes, and he's helping everyone out. Why do we need Indra when he's giving us the water? Isn't Krishna? Krishna is not wrong about this, right? He may be considered an innocent 7-year-old boy almost right now, but he's not wrong about this, right? He's giving us water. He's giving us all the food items that we require. Everything is giving here. Then why do we need to go to Indra, right? Why do we need to go to Indra? Right? The same is here as well, and the same kind of imagery comes with this karma kanda thing, right? When everything is in bhakti, when bhakti gives us the highest benediction of human life, when bhakti gives us and shows us the highest goal, why do we choose smaller goals? What is the reason? Why do we have to go to such smaller goals? Right? Karma kanda can have temporary measures. It's like almost putting sort of some cream on your wound to heal it, but that you have to keep on applying that cream, right? It's a temporary measure, or a band-aid. It's a temporary measure. But to heal it completely, you need to ensure that you have that strength, you have that energy to heal it. Same thing is here, right? So, understanding that bhakti gives us all the benedictions, all the benefactors, and everything. Why do we need to go to other things? Why do we choose a smaller goal? Because it gives us simple temporary measures. And therefore, Krishna consciousness is not for temporary measures. It is not for temporary answers. It is not temporary happiness. It is eternal happiness, spiritual happiness. And how do we get that? By the chanting of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. If anyone has any reflections, questions, refutations, please ask. Yes, Prabhu, any refutations?
I have a question. So, Prabhu, you said that we should not ask Krishna like the karma kanda thing. That not if we ask anything for ourselves, that means karma kanda. So, for example, if there are grihasthas, if they lost their job,
Mm.
okay, and now they cannot go and beg,
Mm.
right? They have to earn it.
Mm.
So for that they need a job. So
Mm.
if they are looking for a job, they are trying their best. So does that mean they should not pray to Krishna?
Mm.
And because as you said, they are asking for themselves.
Mm.
But anyways, I know they're going to serve that. They're gonna use that money in Krishna service. So
Yeah, correct. So you answered your question yourself, Prabhu. That the fact that what is a job for? Well, the money comes out for what purpose? For Krishna service, to take care of children, household life, and to ensure that their service to Krishna is smooth. It may be the household Thakurji that they serve, or the deities in the temple, or preaching, or different other things, right? What is that? We need some sort of livelihood so that we can sustain ourselves. That, and for that purpose, that is Krishna service. So done. So, but you're asking for Krishna, right? You're asking that money for Krishna, not for yourself. But when you want extra stuff, like I want to buy a Mercedes car, or a Bugatti, or different kinds of cars, or I want to go and eat this opulent Lamborghini, or to eat this opulent things, that is for yourself. That is out of necessity question, right? That is important. That's why grihasthas are very important, right? For grihasthas, because everything in the end is connected to Krishna. That's why we have deities. For grihasthas, it's recommended that they do deity worship so that everything surrounds that deity. Yeah. Any reflections? Everyone has, now we have very less people. Everyone has to say one thing. What they think about this. Yes, Prabhu.
I actually really like the last point that you mentioned, that about grihasthas
Mhm.
being with deities so that their life revolves around them. It's actually a valid point. If you don't have deities, then four legs and all the other things are very easy to be broken off and to divert ourselves in material.
Mm.
I believe the material is very strong over there. If you don't have deities, I'm not recommending to get deities, but it's just
Correct.
like not serving any deities, even as you mentioned at the temple or at home. It's difficult like that to have a life without them.
And the same is for the Brajavasis. Their deity is Govardhan. Right? Life revolves around them, literally, like a parikrama. Right? Life revolves around them around Govardhan. So, and Indra comes once a year, puts his benediction and goes away. Govardhan is there every day for us. Right? Prabhu, everyone has to say one thing.
Prabhu has a question.
You have a question, Prabhu?
He raised his hand. That's right.
No, you go ahead, Prabhu. Everyone has to say one thing.
Okay, no worries.
But you only have 1 minute for that.
one thing,
I really like the point when you said about the Venus ashram. Because like whatever I used to ask a lot of things before, not to Krishna or everyone, like you should please give me like good those things. But now it's like okay, it's all in your hands. Whatever you want to give me, I know you plan for me, so it's like
Yeah, Lord Shiva is Bholenath. Right?
yeah,
He is so sweet, he'll give everything.
yeah.
That's Vaishnavas, Vancha Kalpatru. Right? They are wish fulfilling trees. Krishna is not like this. He will make you work hard for it. Hey, he is like that same boy from Vrindavan who's going to make you work hard for that same thing. That's nice. Thank you.
But also, I'm sorry, but that will again be karma kanda.
True.
Like now whatever I'm asking Krishna is like only for
Again, the same thing that mentioned here. That you ask for Krishna service.
Yeah. Now I'm asking like whatever you want to give me, I'll just
Mm.
use in your service. Whatever it is. Like salad, coffee, whatever.
Very nice. Jai. Ebo.
Yes. Thank you so much for the class. It was very nice. How you spoke about karma kanda and then growing a guru or Mahaprabhu. Yes, thank you so much. And also, I remember one shloka, 2:111, Srimad Bhagavatam, where but he's saying that, O king, I think Sukhdev Goswami constant chanting, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of the great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge.
Correct.
So, yeah, it's okay to have. It's like, I want a car, I will go to my father. But just don't go to Padosi, don't go to neighbors, don't go to any other.
Very good point.
Yeah, you have, and I like people what do you call it? Who agrees that you are, yes, I like car. For example, I like maybe camera or video games. I like video games. Ask Krishna. Instead of going out.
Eventually, so the fathers will say first, no, I don't want to give you, right? Because he wants to like make sure that you are not spoiled. Eventually, he gives it to you, right? Because he loves you, right? The same thing comes.
Mahaprabhu also, Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a verse in which he says, this is the second line, Ami Vignya, na kemne digo. As it's like, if somebody will ask me material desires, devotee, he is foolish, but I am indulgent. I will not give him. Niche charana amrit diyo vishay bhulaiyo. Something like that. I will give him myself and Ami Vignya a murkh vishay kehne diba swacharnamrit diya vishay bhulaiyo. So even if we will ask, since I am very intelligent, why should I give this full material prosperity? Instead, I shall induce him to take the nectar of the shelter of my lotus feet and make him forget illusory material enjoyment.
Haribo.
So, yeah, nice. There is one.
Yeah, I think it's a very nice verse, Prabhu. I think even again coming back to my favorite bhajan, Udilo Aruna, the last verses, Namu bina kichu nahi ko aro chauda bhuvana maji. Right? Even if there's nothing, even if you run around the 14 worlds, there are 14 planetary systems. You run around all those planetary systems. There's nothing that they can give you as compared to the holy name. The holy name can give you everything. That's very important. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says this.
I like the point you mentioned about, sometimes people call to read Bhagavatam at the last moment or something. But still, Krishna makes sure that if they are listening at least once, in this lifetime or next lifetime, there will be someone who will become Krishna conscious in their family and take the charge of, 14 lineages so that they can return back to God.
Correct.
Right now also we see that, a lot of time the team gets invitation to go and do kirtan, do different things. They might be doing by the same reason, right? But still Krishna will help them eventually to get to the point where everyone is trying.
Yeah, like I don't want to compare ourselves, but even Narad Muni, right? Narad Muni is the greatest devotee of the Lord, and he lands up in situations where he gives them mercy. Devotees are direct examples of mercy. If a devotee is coming to your place, and if you even spot a devotee on the street doing Sankirtan, like how we go out on Sankirtan, right? We have mercy, we are sharing that mercy with everybody, right? If you keep that mercy to yourself, then you are no less than the selfish individuals who are karmakandis, right? Giving out that mercy is important so that everyone enjoys little, like one of the loving exchanges is sharing prasadam. We share our prasad that we receive. Yasya prasada, Bhagavat prasada. You already said Prabhu. Yes, Alex Prabhu, do you have anything to say?
Thank you for your boss.
Yes. Thank you.
I agree with this. If you want something to have, you give more.
Nice point. Thank you.
Krishna and Govardhana are the same. But if you want Govardhana, then you have to choose Krishna. So the point is that Krishna knows better than Govardhana. So why then Govardhana is more prayed and Krishna being without knowing Krishna that he is the supreme.
Good question.
But, afterwards we are acting like an ass in the world, but we don't know any knowledge about Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam does it tell that it's Govardhana is the.
So, you just probably mentioned that why Govardhana is prayed more than Krishna. Why is he worshipped? Because Krishna likes to see his devotees being worshipped, right? And Govardhana is his devotee.
Govardhan is also Krishna, right?
Almost similar, but Govardhan is there in service of Krishna there, right? Govardhan thinks of himself there. So, I mean, devotee is also part and parcel of Krishna, right? There's so many Shaktavisha avatars that we have.
Will be then Mayavadi, no?
No, Shaktavisha avatars, no, we are part and parcel. That is different. Mayavadi means we are completely aligned, tandem. Sakshat haritvena samasta shastre uktastatthava yateva sabdi kintu prabhoryar priyavatasya. Devotees are closer to Krishna, dear to Krishna. That is why we treat them as like Krishna, not because they are Krishna. That becomes Mayavadi. Okay. Jai Haribol. Shrimad Bhagavatam ki jai.